You know, the funny thing is, in the last 10 years, a lot of owner operators, they're making bank like crazy, delivering to airports and whatnot. And the cool thing is that when you hear about the term airport shuttle service, people believe, oh, this is not making money, blah, 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 blah. Boss, in today's conversation, I want to explain to you how to open an airport shuttle service and make bank in the process. I'm not talking about small ass bank. I'm talking about big ass bank. Okay. So here is the overview I really want you to pay attention to. First of all, let's go back to the origins, so to speak. What is a shuttle service? So a shuttle service regularly transports 10 or more travelers, typically by bus or van, from one place to another. In this case, will be to the airport. Okay, so one version of a shuttle service company provides its customer base with transportation to and from the airport. So shuttles are attractive to travelers because they are often cheaper than self-parking or taxis for that matter. And another example is the medical transportation service, okay, business. In this case, shuttle drivers will transport patients or the elderly to and from hospitals, homes, and elderly care facilities. So it's really important to have a clear idea that, listen, there is so much money in this industry. It's crazy. Based on our research, and we have been researching this industry for the last 25 years. I mean, here is a 3.5 to $7 billion industry. I'm talking about just last year alone, the industry pulled like 5.8 billion dollars, according to none other than the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so this is serious stuff here, boss. By the way, welcome back to the show. It's really wonderful to have you here, to have a quick convo here and there about the how to open an airport shuttle service. So when we're talking about opening an airport shuttle service, boss, now is the time. I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm not talking about tomorrow. Now is the time to act now, to actually, set yourself to position yourself properly, to make sure that you are making money. Okay. So why is it a great idea to have an airport shuttle service right now? Well, if you are in the right geography, because you got to be close to an airport, you got to be in a metropolitan area that is actually economically active too. Because if you're somewhere in a rural area that is like 1,000 miles from an airport, you're not going to make money. So it's a great market. It's a great market. It's a great business to be in for several reasons. Number one, the profit margins are really high. Number two, you don't have a lot of competition. Number three, in terms of regulations, the authorities are not really strict when it comes to who can enter this business. Okay, and number four, which is really important, the transport industry, the transport industry in general is growing every single year. We're talking about 12 to 30% growth year on year. So the potential is there. Okay, the potential is definitely there. Now, there are reasons why shuttle services may fail. There is a high upfront investment. Okay, there's a lack of demand in most areas, high competition in some areas. Okay, and so you have to be really careful about how you position yourself. Here is a review I really want you to pay attention to, boss. We are trying to know clearly how to open an airport shuttle service. Now there are some costs that are involved in starting a shuttle service to and through the airport. Okay, first of all, you have one-time costs and you have recurring costs. I want to quickly go through the one-time costs with you. So you have business license expenses. Okay, so the thing here is that there is a price tag when it comes to actually starting a shuttle business. Before customers, employees, or vehicles, you need to have a price. There is a price tag. So whether you decide on a corporation, sole proprietorship, or LLC business structure, you will owe your state filing and reporting fees. And exact amounts will actually vary by state and type of business, but fees typically fall between $50 and $150. You have the vehicle itself. Okay, one of the largest and most important upfront expenses for airport shuttle services. You may actually either lease the vehicle or buy it. Okay, then you have to think about the cost, which can go all the way to $50,000 on average. Or if you are looking for a new vehicle or a new van, or it can go to 25 grand if you're looking for a used van. Okay, think about vehicle permits. Okay, so once shuttle service owners purchase their vehicles, they need to buy permits that allow them to use those to use those van in a business capacity. Okay, and so those are things I want you to think about. You have franchising licenses, okay? So those are really, again, depending on the state you're in, the geography you're in, you might have to pay extra. So, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to open a profitable airport shuttle service and actually start making bank from day one, okay? So those, I'll explain to you the one-time cost. Now let's have a conversation about recurring cost. So you have fuel, of course. You have driver wages, you have maintenance, you have storage, okay? You have the ancillary costs that are also important because at the end of the day, you are running a business. So you're going to have like a admin cost, okay? Somebody got to take care of your back office, your accounting, your taxes and whatnot. So those are part of the recurring costs. So I want you to really write down on a piece of paper your one-time cost and your recurring costs, and based on the state you're in, you can have a clear idea of how much in upfront investment you're gonna have to like money you're gonna have to set aside. So, boss, now let me explain to you the steps, like step by step, how to open an airport shuttle service. First of all, you need to determine your service area. I don't care where you are at. I don't care if you are in a little town in rural America, or you are in a big city like New York or Dallas or Chicago or LA. You need to determine your service area. The cool thing here is that when we talk about airport shuttle service, you have competition based on geography. See, delivery business, when you analyze delivery business in general, is geography driven, okay? And particularly when we talk about an airport shuttle service, obviously you have to be in the vicinity, like your business must be located in the vicinity of an airport, right? And the thing is, when we talk about airport, I'm not just talking about commercial airports. You can also have private airports. I mean, you have a booming business with when it comes to private jets and whatnot. That also needs to be considered when it comes to the kind of airports you're eyeing. Okay, so you need to determine your service area. So before you determine your shuttle transportation service area, it's important to understand the scope of your operation. So with the resources you have available to you, you need to figure out how many shuttles you can afford to operate. If you have a healthy budget, you can cover a wider geographic area. If you are operating with limited resources, it might make sense to start out small and plan to expand eventually. Okay, boss? So I want you to really take your time and really, hold your horses. Don't actually start real fast and really be, no. Take your time to analyze what's really happening and make your moves accordingly. Okay. This is very important, boss. Okay. And so, regardless of the size of your business, it's important to conduct competitive research to determine gaps in the existing market. How many shuttles are currently in operation in your area? Are they on demand shuttles or scheduled shuttles? Do they have exclusive partnerships with area organizations such as hotels and shopping centers? So you want to look at local airports to see if an airport shuttle service model will make more sense. Okay. Reach out to establishments that don't currently offer a shuttle service or a taxi service for their customers in order to develop potential partnership, because you need to have those partnership opportunities. Okay, so in order to maximize your profit, you really need to tap into a heavily trafficked area and transport as many passengers as efficiently as possible. And you need to determine whether you want to offer scheduled or on-demand service. Okay, this is really important. Now you can consider offering on-demand service at a premium price if you have a larger team, more vehicles, and greater flexibility. On-demand service, which takes multiple travelers to and from varied pickup and drop-off locations, really adds routing complexity. Okay, so this makes route optimization really important. So, whereas if you go with a scheduled service, it's just a lot easier. Now, one thing I want you to do boss, also is that you need to acquire necessary documentation and insurance. If you want to open a profitable airport shuttle service from day one, you got to take care of those important elements when it comes to documentation. I mean, the paperwork and insurance. Okay. So before you ever drive a passenger, you need to make sure your company's documentation and insurance needs are in order. So you'll need the following. You'll need multi-passenger permits, the cost of details of which vary by states. So they're called passenger permits. You need to think about vehicle registration. You need to think about appropriate licenses for your drivers, depending on your location and the type of vehicles in your fleet. Some states will require a chauffeur's license, many will require a Class B license. You need to think about business and liability insurance. You need to think about airport permits, if applicable. This varies by the airport. Okay, boss, this is important. So I want to contextualize today's conversation once again. I want to remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to open a very profitable airport shuttle service and make bank from day one. Okay, so acquire necessary documentation and insurance. Check. You want to decide whether you want to offer scheduled or on-demand service. Check. You want to actually determine your service area. Check. Now you need to hire your team and purchase your vehicles. Purchase or even lease them. Okay. So now the thing is, I advise you to start. You want to start by yourself, and you want to expand. You want to scale gradually. But if you have the resources, if you have the budget, then go ahead and hire folks right away. Like hire more drivers and trying to see if you should buy used or new vehicles or just lease. In our view, in our experience doing this for the last 20 years or 30 years and advising folks, it's just a lot better to lease one vehicle and to start small. You want to start with yourself. You want to start by leasing a vehicle, a van. It can be a van. Think about the number of places though, the number of seats though. Because you want to have at least 10 to 15 seats minimum. Okay, so you can make money. Because that's how you make money actually. So you want to hire your team and purchase your vehicle or lease them, and you want to start with yourself and then gradually expand from there. So this is the strategy. Let me give you a few pro tips so you actually can have a better idea how to develop your activity real fast. When we talk about shuttle services for an airport, you need to reduce recurring expenses. Okay, if you remember earlier, I was just talking to you about the fact that you have one-time expenses and you have ongoing expenses. Now, those ongoing expenses, they are there, like fuel, for instance. Okay, like maintenance and repair, for example. Like if you really want to reduce them on an ongoing basis, you need to establish something called more efficient, profitable optimization. Okay, you need to optimize shuttle routes with software, for example. You gotta have software. You gotta have software, okay? Because what you want to do here is you want to optimize the speed and efficiency of your shuttles, routes, and schedules, okay? Because if and the thing is, if you want to do it, if you want to do it manually, this can be very, very difficult and time consuming, especially for a lean team whose efforts could be better spent on other higher value tasks. Okay. So route optimization software can really help. And so you are able to create with like using the software, you can create more efficient routes regardless of the total number of stops your shuttle will ultimately make. And the software, for example, automatically optimizes multi-stop routes by considering the driver and vehicle schedules, capacity, and service areas. Okay, so when we talk about software, it can also be an app, though. It can be route optimization. It can be a route optimization app, or it can be a route optimization software tool. Those two works. Okay, and you need to really understand the future. You need to understand the fact that automation is key here. Automation means less manual work for your team, and it gets drivers on the road more quickly with less oversight. Okay, and plus you are able to track your vehicles in real time, so you can predict delays and react accordingly. Okay, you have easy to use analytics features that allow you for continuous improvements and driver accountability. That's if you start having a fleet boss. Okay, so this means what? You can see who on the team is performing well and who isn't, so you can intervene as needed. So the bottom line here is that if you want to succeed in this airport shuttle service industry, you gotta really optimize your business model. You have to make sure that you have the latest technology that you can use to actually make bank. Here is the approach I really want you to really pay attention to, boss. Boss, if you want to make money day in, day out, in this industry as an airport shuttle service, you need to strategize. You need to constantly re-strategize. What does that mean? It means that you need to research your local market. Okay, as I said before, if you are in a metropolitan area versus you are in in a rural area, the metrics are not the same. The reality is not the same. The conditions are not the same. So you have to constantly adapt and adopt and adapt the strategy you need to use to make sure that you are making money, and pick your niche. You have to pick your niche. I mean, if you are in a very competitive industry, you got to pick your niche. You got to pick your niche so that you can differentiate yourself. Okay. At the end of the day, it's all about differentiating yourself. At the end of the day, it's about making sure that you are competitive in your specific niche. Okay, and analyze the startup cost. If you remember, I was see the startup cost. The thing here is that I spoke to you about two types of costs, right? I spoke about recurring costs and I spoke about one-time costs. Now you want to analyze them. Can you afford them right now, or do you need extra cash? Do you need to get a loan? Do you need to get some kind of liquidity to come in? You need to tap into your own personal savings. You need to tap into your family, like a family relationship, to actually get the extra cash. Those are things you need to think about. Now, those are things you need to think about continually also, because liquidity is an important element when you start an airport shuttle service. Okay. You need to also register your business. If you haven't already done so, register your business. Make sure that you are legit vis-a-vis the state authorities. So state authorities know your ass. They know that you are legit. Okay, I'm talking about filing your paperwork with the Department of State in your particular geography. Make sure that you have your articles of organization. If you are an LLC, LP, LP, and whatnot, make sure you have your articles of incorporation. If you're a C corporation or S corporation or whatnot, you need to make sure you have your certificate of good standing. Make sure you have your business licenses and permits. Make sure you have your bylaws, your operating bylaws. So a constellation of elements that you need to have. You need to have them constantly to make sure that you are in good terms with the authorities, and you want to keep your vehicles ready, your vans ready. You cannot have an airport shuttle service if your vehicles are not ready, okay, and well maintained. That's what I mean by that. And what you want to do in terms of constantly strategizing is that you need to hire experienced staff. If you want to succeed as an airport shuttle service, you can start with yourself, like driving one van, one vehicle, okay. But after 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, you need to expand. You can hire experienced drivers. You need to hire experienced staff. It can be admin staff or drivers also, because they will bring to you. They'll actually help you bring your company to the next level. Okay, and this is really quintessential to think about if you want to continue making bank in this industry. You want to also acquire sufficient insurance. Insurance is key, because God forbid you're transporting people, you're transporting clients. Something were to happen to you. I'm not even talking about the car itself, but human lives are at risk. Anytime you deal with a B2C model, a business to consumer model, which is what you are engaging in, if you are going to open an airport shuttle service, anytime you have this sort of B2C configuration, you have to be extra careful. You have to buy the proper insurance. You have to mitigate risk. You have to think about risk. You have to manage risk. Okay. And also you need to market your business locally. Okay. Think about maybe having a profile on Google Business. This was formerly called Google My Business. And the bottom line here, the bottom line is you want to be known to Google and other players in the industry at the local level. Okay. You also want to think about having like a diversity of services. You want to diversify your services to not actually put all your eggs in the proverbial same basket. Okay. And so the bottom line here is that you want to make sure that you are diversifying also your sources of revenue. You want to have a wide array of business revenue sources. Okay. And also utilize a go-to route planner. Utilize a mobile optimization software tool. Utilize, for example, an app. Okay. And those are important to save cost in the long run. Thank you so much for your attention, boss. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just explaining to you how to open an airport shuttle service that makes money from day one. And I give you an overview. I explain to you what a shuttle service is. And now I also give you the steps you need to follow, the pro tips, and the approach you need to follow to make money right away. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.